So then begin talking about September 2nd. September 2nd, there's going to be a lot more happening, but it's not a total collapse of forces yet, even till the end of September 2nd. Spoiler alert. So troops on both sides of frontline Germans, Germany and Poland, they're both really exhausted. They're tired, but they're also both highly moralized. The Germans have high morale because they think that they're taking over a country for the good of their own, and the Polish troops have high morale because they know they're not beaten. They're expecting to lose. Their question is not, will I win against the Germans or will I lose? The question is, how long is it going to take to lose? And they haven't lost yet, and that's why the morale is so high, which is pretty good for them. And you probably know this, but the main Polish defensive idea is not to have a full year long, not to be able to hold out for a year against the Germans. They're not going to do that. They know. Like a few weeks, maybe several. But the main idea is that they need the French and hopefully the British support to attack Germany to relieve some of that pain that the Polish armies are facing at this moment on September 1st and September 2nd. So, okay, back to Modlin. Right, there's the 78th Infantry Regiment, 80th Infantry Regiment, and both are attacked by Stukas. So Army Group North's equivalent in terms of air power is Luftflotte I, and they do a lot of air campaigns in this area. They don't do a lot of air campaigns in the Pomeranian front, which is the other part of their jurisdiction, because of bad weather conditions. So the Luftwaffe is totally concentrated in Mława and also like Danzig, right? I mean, they also have things to worry about in Hal Peninsula and Westerplatte. But for our main purposes, Luftflotte I bombs the 78th and 80th Infantry Regiments at Mława, and then artillery attacks them, so they're hit twice, and then infantry attacks them. So 61st Infantry Division launches its attack on 78th Infantry Regiment, and again, though it's a division versus a regiment, the division fails, because thanks to all of the great anti-tank, or even, I mean, I can call it anti-infantry defenses. They're really good. And then 20th Infantry Division's right flank is at Rzęgnowo, and there the German 1st Infantry Division was able to make a breach behind the Polish forces. So between the Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade and the 79th Infantry Regiment, the Germans make a breach. They penetrate the front line, and they're kind of through, but they're not all done yet. So although they do break through, it's a breakthrough, don't get me wrong, but they haven't destroyed either the brigade or the infantry regiment. In fact, the regiment withdraws by the end of the evening. They withdraw because you're about to get surrounded. You're about to get surrounded on all sides, so it makes sense. They withdraw by around 6 p.m. and 12th Infantry Regiment 12th Infantry Division and 1st Cavalry Brigade, they continue like pummeling Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade with attacks and assaults. And the Germans lose a lot of men and a lot of equipment, but so do the Polish soldiers. Although they're not completely destroyed, and the Polish are still standing strong in this area. So quite ironically, this is considered a success at this point. This area that I just talked about, Albert Wodryk's Corps, not able to destroy any Polish armies, Polish division, Polish regiments, and unable to make a total breach, besides how one breakthrough in between Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade and 79th Infantry Regiment. But Wodryk calls this a victory, and actually Küchler, I think, also calls it a victory, although in different words. And actually, I'm not so sure about it, because there's a lot of things they could have done with that much numerical advantage, firepower advantage, and there's no big natural defenses other than the fortifications at Rzęgnowo itself. Enjoying this coffee. It's not coffee, it's water. Speaking of water, the river, right? The Varta River at this point, again, I'll say this, but there's no movement by the Germans against the Varta operation. I mean the Narv operational group, and they're kind of just sitting there. 20th Infantry Division is in trouble, and Mazowiecka Cavalry Brigade is also kind of in trouble, and then you just have 2 divisions and 2 brigades just casually idling in the north. They're not even able to go into East Prussia. You have to consider that because there's border guards. The border guards disallow the Poles from going into East Prussia and taking Königsberg, but the Germans are also not able to attack the Narv group. So kind of just like a standstill. In a way, it's like a mini phony war in that area of the front, the northeast, the far northeast of the front line. So September 2nd kind of just goes without, the rest of the day doesn't have much fighting in either front line. Mława isn't attacked, but with the help of Panzer Division Kempf, Wodryk Corps does make some additional movements in the Rzęgnowo sector, the front. But again, they haven't actually destroyed the Modlin army. Modlin army is still standing strong at both of these locations, Mława and Rzęgnowo. So what happens in the night is that Küchler, he decides, he makes a plan. Okay, so alright, pretend you're Grotfront Küchler and you've witnessed the poor attacks on 79th Infantry Regiment. They've succeeded a little, but Polish 79th is still standing strong, and the same could definitely be said even more for 78th. 78th Infantry Division is not destroyed, and 80th Infantry Regiment is also not destroyed. Sorry if I sometimes confuse. If I misspoke and say division when I mean regiment, or regiment when I say division. 78th Regiment and 80th Infantry Regiment are all standing strong. So what do you do if you're Küchler? So what Küchler did is he decides to basically move everything around and kind of just hit Mława from behind, which is bold move, and it's actually pretty smart, I think. You don't want to just keep attacking an area that you're not gonna make much achievement in. You go around and put all your forces in the area that is making progress, which is the eastern flank at Rzęgnowo, and that's what Küchler decides. I think, right? Panzer Division Kempf is already in. It's already in this area of the front by September 2nd, but by September 3rd, I think that's when they actually get like pretty active. So Kempf's division hasn't made any actual engagements at this front on September 2nd, but they will on September 3rd, because Küchler decides that they need Kempf, and the Panzer Division is going to make all the breakthrough and go behind the Mława garrison. So the Germans have a plan, and for the Polish army, well, Krukowicz, Przezmirski understands that the Germans are probably going to move their forces, specifically probably Panzer Division Kempf, around into the eastern flank. So he expects this, and so does Regiment, and they decide to bring in the 8th Infantry Division, the reserve, finally, and they're going to go to Sichanov, to Chichanov, and they're going to make a stand at Rzęgnowo. And this considerably extends like the capabilities of the Polish army at this point, because they're really bogged down in all parts, and they cannot afford to move as much as a battalion over to a different area of the front, because Modlin is under so much pressure that the 3 infantry regiments were attacked by 3 infantry divisions, and Rzęgnowo is also outnumbered. But at this point, both forces realize that Rzęgnowo is where they're going to meet and have a big fight. And yeah, for the most part, September 1st, Germany didn't make any breakthrough in Modlin, Mława, and they made some breakthrough in Rzęgnowo. But the big events happen on September 3rd, as in pretty much all across the Polish theater, in Morsha Front and in Silesia as well. A lot of the big events happen on September 3rd.